Stop! Imagine your coffee stirs itself on the table. No spoon, no hand, just a gentle, steady spin. It turns and turns, soft and quiet. You blink, you lean in closer, you listen for the small hum. You can still smell the rich aroma of the coffee. Is this some kind of magic? Or is it a small, clever trick? This little moment of wonder is where our story begins. This is the story of the self-stirring cup. At first glance, it looks simple. It almost looks funny. It is a small, unassuming object on your desk, yet it hides much more than you would ever expect. This cup holds a secret. It has the quiet power to change the way people think about everyday things. It is more than a gadget. It is a conversation starter. It is a piece of tiny, accessible magic. It is proof that big ideas can come in small packages, and it all starts with a simple swirl in your morning drink. The cup sits there waiting. It has no flashy lights, it has no complicated buttons, it just has one job to do. But it does that job with a little bit of flair. It creates a perfect tiny whirlpool in your hot chocolate. It creates a perfect tiny whirlpool in your tea. Sugar dissolves into the swirl without a single splash. Cream folds into the whirl without a single splash. It is a small performance, just for you. This is the unexpected charm of an object designed for one simple purpose. It adds a touch of the extraordinary to the most ordinary part of your day. It is a tiny robot dedicated to your beverage. It is a small piece of technology that feels personal. Like a little helper that only you know about. You press the button. A soft whir begins. The liquid starts its dance. You watch, just for a second, mesmerized by the motion. It's a moment of quiet satisfaction. This is not about saving a huge amount of time. It is about the feeling it gives you. It is about the small smile it brings to your face. It is a gadget that does not demand your attention. It just quietly does its thing, making your morning just a little bit better. Yeah. Long ago, the first idea for this cup was just a silly thought. It came from a student. He was studying late at night. He wanted a cup that could stir his drink for him. He did not want to get up from his desk. He did not want to find a clean spoon. He just wanted a little bit of ease. So, he tinkered. He took a very small motor. He found a way to put it in the base of a mug. He wanted to see if the cup could move the liquid on its own. It started as a joke, but then it became real. The very first self-stirring cups were seen as toys. They were often loud. They were not very powerful. The batteries did not last long. But people who saw them always smiled. They laughed. They took videos. They shared them with friends. The cup became a small, funny trend online. It was a novelty. It was a fun gift. Quick pause. If this odd little story is stirring your curiosity, tap like, hit subscribe, and share to keep the magic moving. Then, some clever engineers saw it. They looked past the joke. They saw the potential. They decided to make it better. They saw a simple idea that could be refined into something truly useful and elegant. They worked on the design. They made the motor quieter. They made the spin stronger, but also smoother. They improved the seals to keep water out of the electronics. Now the modern cup stirs coffee like a small, controlled storm. It spins with a quiet confidence. It keeps sugar perfectly mixed. It keeps cream perfectly mixed. It keeps powders perfectly mixed from the first sip to the last. It saves a little bit of time, yes, but more than that, it feels a bit like magic. It has evolved from a clumsy prototype into a sleek and reliable little machine. This journey from a dorm room joke to a polished product. Most people who see this cup think of it as a simple gadget for their morning brew, but very few know about its hidden uses. Its talents go far beyond coffee tea. Some people use it for mixing protein shakes, powdered supplements. The steady, powerful spin breaks up clumps better than a shaker bottle. But it gets even more interesting than that. Some people use it for mixing small batches of paint. Yes, you read that right. Paint. It is a secret tool for artists, crafters. Artists have discovered that the cup is perfect for their work. They can mix acrylics, watercolors in a small container placed inside the mug. The constant, steady stir can create a perfectly smooth and consistent paint mixture in just a few moments. This is especially useful for creating custom colors. Bakers have also found a use for it. They use it to stir small amounts of icing glazes to a perfect consistency. Even gardeners have found a purpose, using it to mix small, precise fertilizer solutions for their delicate plants. The cup is not just for drinks, it is a versatile mixing tool. Here is something even stranger. The tiny motor inside the cup is not just a simple spinner. It can be used to demonstrate principles of balance and motion. Engineers in laboratories use very similar, albeit more precise motors for their experiments. They use them to test tiny gyroscopes, other sensitive instruments. The cup, in its own small way, teaches us about rotational motion. So, how does this little piece of magic actually work? It is simpler than you might think. There is no complex machinery involved. At the heart of most self-stirring cups is a very small, battery-powered motor. This motor is housed in a sealed compartment in the base of the mug. When you press the button, the motor starts to spin a tiny weight. This creates the motion. It's just converting battery energy into mechanical energy. The magic is how that motion is transferred to your drink. The cleverest part? The spinning never touches the liquid. A trick from lab tools makes this possible. Many cups use a magnetic coupling. With any gadget that combines electricity and liquids, people, naturally have questions about safety. Many people worry about the batteries, the heat from their drink, and the possibility of leaks. The best, most reputable self-stirring cups are designed with these concerns in mind. They use high-quality, completely sealed compartments for the motor. For the batteries, they use low-power motors that do not generate any significant heat. They are specifically made to be safe around hot liquids, coffee, tea. A well-made cup is a safe cup. However, not all cups are created equal. Cheaper, off-brand models might cut corners on safety. They might have poor seals that can leak after a few uses. A leak could not only ruin the motor but also damage the surface of your table. It is always a good idea to check the seals and read the product labels and reviews before you buy. A small, inexpensive gadget can be perfectly safe, or it can be a small risk. Pay attention to the quality of the construction. It is key to having a good experience with your cup. Another myth is that the cup is made only for people who are lazy. This is a harsh and unfair judgment. For many people, the cup is not a novelty but a genuinely helpful tool. It can be a huge help for people with arthritis, hand tremors, other mobility challenges. For them, stirring a drink can be difficult or even painful. For these individuals, this simple cup is a small helper that makes their daily life a little bit easier. It brings back a small piece of independence. It allows them to enjoy a simple pleasure without frustration or assistance. In this context, the cup is not a toy. It is a tool of accessibility and dignity. It is a perfect example of how a simple invention, even one that started as a joke, can have a meaningful and positive impact on someone's life. It reminds us not to judge a gadget by its most obvious use. The self-stirring cup is a tribute to that kind of thinking. It is a small testament to the power of asking, what if? And it all started because one person did not want to get up to find a spoon. Is a story of innovation. It shows how a playful idea can grow into something more. It reminds us that not all great inventions come from big, serious laboratories. Now, for the big secret. This is the part that most people miss entirely. The self-stirring cup is not just a product, it is a mirror. It holds up a reflection of our modern lives and our desires. It shows how much we chase ease convenience. We are always looking for ways to do less work. We want everything to be faster, more efficient. The cup perfectly captures that impulse. It automates a tiny, simple task. It whispers that you do not even need to stir your own coffee anymore. But this mirror shows us something else, too. It makes us ask a quiet question. By automating these small tasks, do we lose something important? Sometimes, the simple act of stirring a cup with a spoon is a small joy. It can be a slow, calming moment in a busy day. It can be a daily ritual that grounds us. The gadget forces us to think about this trade-off. Do we lose these small, mindful rituals when we hand them over to a machine? This is the quiet, philosophical side of the self-stirring cup story. It is a debate between efficiency and experience. At the same time, the cup teaches a very smart lesson about good design. The best designs are the ones that hide the effort. The best self-stirring cups feel simple and effortless. They are quiet. They spin at just the right speed, creating a perfect swirl without splashing. They feel good and balanced in your hand. Designers of all kinds of products can learn from this. A small motor, the right kind of seal. A soft, satisfying click of a button can make a product feel magical. This principle is true for smartphones, electric cars, a simple coffee cup. So the cup is a paradox. Let's take a closer look at the secret tricks hidden inside the cup's base. As we touched on, many of the best cups use that clever magnetic coupling. This is the key to their elegance and safety. The motor is safely tucked away in the waterproof base. It does not need any physical connection to the inside of the cup. Instead, it uses the invisible force of magnetism to do its work. This design keeps the sensitive electronic parts completely dry and safe from the hot liquid above. It is a brilliant piece of borrowed science. This magnetic system also dramatically improves the user experience. The stirring pill is a separate, free-floating piece. Cleaning is a breeze. There are no nooks or crannies for old coffee or sugar to get stuck in. You just rinse the cup, you rinse the pill, and you are done. This is a huge advantage over designs with fixed blades. People love to discover the hidden stories behind small, everyday objects. The self-stirring cup has its share of surprising facts. Some have already surfaced, but they're worth repeating. These tidbits make the cup more than just a thing you own. They turn it into a story you can share. They stick in your mind and make you see the gadget differently. Even a $15 mug can have a rich history. So, 3 strange facts. 1. The original idea was invented by a college student as a playful fix to a personal problem. 2. The magnetic coupling trick comes from high-tech magnetic stirrers used in chemistry labs. 3. Some professional artists use the cup to mix small batches of paint and make new textures. Now, try a small experiment at home to see the physics. You don't need the self-stirring cup. Fill a clear glass with water. Add 1 drop of food coloring and watch it slowly diffuse. Stir with a spoon and notice the swirl. Spin a magnet under the glass and watch the paperclip imitate a tiny self-stir. So, what is next for this tiny whirring gadget? The future could be surprisingly smart. Imagine a cup that learns, a cup that could have a tiny sensor to detect the thickness of your drink. It could automatically adjust its stirring speed, a faster spin for a thick protein shake, a gentler one for tea. It could even have a small heating element to keep your drink at the perfect temperature. It could connect to an app on your phone. If this story made you pause and think, or even just smile, then please do a small thing for us. Like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe for more, and tell us in the comments, what is one odd or clever use you would have for a self-stirring cup?